Amidst the multitude of ancient city-states that dotted the Aegean and Mediterranean landscapes, a variety of political structures held sway. Monarchies, oligarchies, and tyrannies, led by the aristocracy, formed the governments, each distinct and fiercely independent. Yet, just beyond the horizon, a monumental shift was about to give rise. A new chapter beckoned, promising a fresh dawn. Hello, and welcome to Impactful Moments, where we explore some of the most, you guessed it, impactful moments in human history. In this video, we will discuss the rise of Athenian democracy, the birth of the government that redefined the power of the people. Following the fall of the Mycenaean civilization, a period from 1100 to 800 BCE, known as the Greek Dark Ages, set in, marked by a decline in written records, culture, and trade. However, the subsequent 300 years, known as the Archaic period, witnessed a resurgence, thanks to renowned poets like Homer and Hesiod, who immortalized the pantheons of gods, heroes, and monsters, laying the foundation for the Greek culture we know today. Throughout the Archaic period, different Greek city-states experimented with various forms of government, including oligarchies, ruled by archons, and tyrannies, or absolute autocratic rulerships, and not necessarily the oppressive tyrannies that are associated with the term today. By the 7th century BCE, Athens, like many other Greek city-states, was characterized as an oligarchy, which was dominated by the aristocracy. This aristocratic rule led to exploitation, causing economic, political, and social issues, and uprisings became increasingly common. Amidst these struggles, Athens turned to an archon named Solon, a poet and lawmaker, to mediate between the competing factions. Solon's reforms, implemented in 594 BCE, aimed to give increased power to the general populace without removing power from the upper class, and included the division of Athenians into property classes. These reforms marked the nascent stages of Athenian democracy, prioritizing productive wealth over noble birth. Additional reforms from Solon included the cancellation of debt and the abolishment of debt slavery, which expanded the Athenian population as slaves were not considered citizens. Solon's reign was followed up with the reintroduction of tyranny in Athens, with Pisistratus and his successors Hipparchus and Hippias taking rulership. However, in 510 BCE, Cleisthenes, a former archon who was exiled by these tyrants, overthrew the oppressive Hippias. Over the next several years, Cleisthenes set several reforms in motion that were pivotal in giving greater influence to common citizens in Athenian governance. He achieved this by reorganizing the Athenian citizenry into 10 diverse tribes, realigning citizen affiliations, and encouraging broader political connections. Cleisthenes also established the Council of 500, comprised of a rotation of 50 randomly selected members from each of the 10 tribes. This council played a crucial role in daily governance and shaping the legislative agenda. He also expanded the role of the assembly, which was made up of the common citizenry. These reforms ensured that the common Athenian had a say in legislative decision-making and a role in politics. Cleisthenes' commitment to isonomia, the principle of equal rights for all citizens, regardless of social status or birth, underpinned these reforms, breaking the aristocratic hold on power. Several years after Cleisthenes' rule, further democratic reforms were instituted by Ephialtes. Building on Cleisthenes' example, he shifted governmental influence away from the aristocratic-heavy legal council, or the Areopagus, to the ecclesia, or common assembly. Ephialtes also encouraged participation in government by reducing the qualifications and further expanding the definition of citizenship within Athens. Ephialtes' successor, Pericles, who was a political as well as war hero in Athens, continued democracy's spread both socially as well as institutionally. Pericles encouraged the citizens to actively participate in political discourse and backed up his encouragement by instituting payment for civic and public services. This incentive had a tremendous impact on civic participation and played a significant role in recruiting society's lower classes into government participation. Pericles' reforms led to an explosion in Athenian pride and resulted in significant expansion within education, politics, and the arts, ushering in the Athenian Golden Age. The origins of democracy are debated, with many historians believing that Athenian democracy was not the first of its kind. Some Greek city-states and older societies, like the Phoenicians, may have incorporated aspects of democratic governance into their politics. However, Athens stands out as the most well-documented and influential proponent of this political experiment, catalyzing the spread of democratic principles across the ancient Greek world and beyond. Democracy fundamentally transformed the role of citizens within Athenian society. It encouraged active participation in civic life, fostering a sense of empowerment and civic duty among the populace. Citizens were active participants in governance and not just subjects of the state. While initially excluding women, enslaved people, and non-citizens, the concept of citizenship evolved, with some city-states granting citizenships to previously marginalized groups. Additionally, the principle of isonomia advocated for legal equality among citizens, ensuring that individuals were judged by their actions and merits rather than their social status or birth. Inspired by Athens, several other Greek city-states, such as Argos and Megara, attempted to implement democratic systems of governance. Varying in success, these experiments demonstrated the appeal of democratic ideals beyond just Athens. This led to alliances of democratic governments, such as the Delian League, initially established for mutual defense, but ultimately evolving into a framework for Athenian democratic hegemony in the region, promoting political cooperation among member states. Athenian democracy also profoundly influenced the surrounding cultural landscape, attracting scholars, philosophers, and artists from neighboring regions. This cultural diffusion contributed to the cross-pollination of ideas and artistic expression throughout the Mediterranean, enriching the intellectual and artistic vibrancy of the ancient world. Athenian democracy, which championed the inclusion of the common people, was not only revolutionary for its time, but has also become a political mainstay through the ages. It was a prototype for the modern representative democracies where citizens elect representatives to act on their behalf, with the idea that governance should reflect the will of the governed. As peoples and societies have varied widely across time and location, the adaptability of democracy has allowed it to evolve and meet those diversified needs. Modern democratic systems, while foundationally rooted in the Athenian model, incorporate new elements of representation, checks and balances, and human rights as those societies have progressed. The continued discussion of democracy has played a key role in the evolution of more general political philosophy. Thinkers like Plato and Aristotle, while critical of aspects of democracy, engaged with its ideas and contributed significantly to the development of political thought. This ancient study and critique of democracy led to centuries of political philosophy and discourse, strongly influencing the design of political systems and governance structures. Athenian democracy has set monumental societal shifts in motion as well, laying the foundations for Western society. It extolled the virtues of individual liberty, equality, and the rule of law, principles that hold strong as central tenets of modern Western civilization. Athenian democracy's global influence is undeniable. It has served as a source of inspiration for movements advocating for political enfranchisement and social justice worldwide. From suffrage movements to civil rights struggles, the principles of democracy rooted in ancient Athens have informed and guided the aspirations of those seeking political participation and equality. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us to continue creating captivating, impactful historical content. Thanks for watching.